Hey everyone, this is Jess from the Estevan Public Library, and today we are going to be doing some bookbinding. So if you have a take-and-make kit, you'll already have some white paper, some fancy scrapbook paper, some thread, and a sharp needle. But you will also need some scissors, a ruler, and a piece of cardboard for when you're poking the holes, just to protect your table. Let's go! So just before we begin, we're going to take our scrapbook paper. Sometimes they'll be double-sided, so pick which side you want as your cover. I'm going to pick this, so I'm going to lay it on its inside cover right now. And take your paper. So that fits really nicely up here, but there's a lot of extra down here. So I'm just going to measure that and cut off what we don't need. There, so this is all cut now, and leaving about half an inch or about a centimeter border around, just so it closes nicely. Next, you're going to want to take your white paper and you're going to want to carefully fold that in half so that the edges are lined up. Smooth that down, and then you're going to want to take a pretty heavy duty ruler and just using the back of it, just flatten that edge part there. And there you go. So now that's nice and flat. We get to do the same with our scrapbook piece of paper. So we'll do that same. Make sure that the side you want as your cover is out and touching the edges. And use your ruler. And there you go. So now you can overlay these two pieces in, just like that. So now that everything is lined up and flat, we're going to start measuring. So take your ruler and line it up just against the crease of the white paper. Leave a little bit of room to make your marks for the entry points. So I measured mine at 3.5 centimeters, 11.5 centimeters, and 19 centimeters. These marks will be where we punch our holes for our needle. So now we'll grab our needles, and I'm also going to grab this piece of cardboard to use to protect the table. If you have a crafter's mat, that'd be good to use as well. So we'll put the cardboard underneath the journal and then use the needle to punch out our holes. Make sure you get through all the pieces of paper as well as the cover. This can be a little hard, so especially on your fingers. So if you have a thimble or gloves that you can use to protect your hands, I highly recommend to use those. Alright, so once you have your holes in place, we're going to take a thread and needle. We're going to start by flipping it over and entering that center hole there. There we go. Pull that up, and then we're going to go up to the top hole. That through, and then we're going to go all the way down, making sure to move the tail of your string to the bottom one. There we go. Just make sure that's nice and tight. Now go back through your center one again. Now what I like to do is make sure the two tails are on opposite side of your center string. Take that out. make a knot or a little bow there. And there you are. Have your own journal. So this first method was really nice, really easy to do, but if you're looking for something a little bit more advanced, I have a second method here that you can use. So with this method, we're going to be using double the amount of white paper, so we have 2 sections of it once we're done. As you can see, I've measured out and cut it already and also folded it in. Then we're going to take our cover and I cut mine already, but I also did some measurements. I measured for the center line and made a mark there, and on either side I measured a 2 centimeter gap and marked that as well. So now we're going to start folding. Take your first line and fold inwards. I folded mine outwards, so I made sure I followed my lines. And if you do this, just make sure you fold it back inwards so it folds in like a cover would. Then I'll take my second line here, the middle one, and fold that inwards as well. Kind of like how you would fold a paper accordion. There we go. And now we'll take our last line there. And I'm going to do the same method of folding it out and then back in, but if you can, fold it inward towards where the book would be closing. And there we go. So now when you're finished folding, it should look like this. Looks a bit like an accordion, or that the cover has an upside down V in the center. So now we'll take both stacks of our white pieces of paper and put them on either side of that V-shaped fold. From there, we'll do the same thing we did with the first one and start measuring. So when you're measuring this, you're going to want to do one part at a time and make sure it's on the corresponding crease for that page mark. So we're going to line it up. There we go. And we're going to do the same measurements as before. So 3.5, 11.5, and 19. Now we'll also do each one at a time, so that way it's just easier to make sure that our hole's in the right place. So now that we measured out all our holes, we're going to want to take needle and thread and start binding. I'm going to put that aside for a moment, and starting at the back, I'm going to go through this back hole here in the middle hole in the first section. Pull it through, and before you go further, just get this a little bit of a knot, just to keep it from sliding too far. Go. So now we're going to want to go through our top hole on the first one. Pull that through. And then on the back, we're going to go through the top hole on the second section. And bring your pages back over. And pull it tight. So now we're going to go through our middle hole on the first section. Or the second section, sorry. And go back through that first middle hole on the first section. Good and tight. And then we're going to go through this bottom section here on the, or bottom hole here in the first section. Pull it through. And flipping it over. And going through the bottom hole in the second section. There we go. Pull it nice and tight. Then we'll go back through this middle hole in the second section one last time. Pull the strings tight. Then tie your knot. And there you go. This one's nice because you'll have two extra sections to write in. And it can, in the middle, it will fold nice and evenly. And that's 2 different ways to bind your own journals. From here, you can decorate them or leave them plain. I hope you all enjoyed. The written instructions will be posted as PDF files in the YouTube description or on our Facebook post. If you enjoyed this craft and want to showcase your work, be sure to post this online and tag us on any of our social media pages. We'd love to see your work. Thank you again for joining me in this Take and Make, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, take care.